Well, we told you about the latest poll that's adding yet another twist to California's race for governor, and it indicates an all-Democrat duel in November. But another major poll released just one day earlier showed the opposite. The conflicting results showing just how tight the race for a spot in November's runoff has become.
How does the man who helped pull Britain out of the European Union end up as Donald Trump's pick to take California, the bluest big state in America, back from the Democrats? His name is Steve Hilton, and as of late May 2026, 1 week before California's primary, he is leading the polls in the race to become the next governor of California. If you have followed the California governor race in 2026, you have heard the sound bites. $3 gas, zero income tax on your first $100,000, a plan he calls Califordable. What you probably have not heard is how strange it is that this particular man is the one selling it. Steve Hilton was born in London in August 1969 to parents who were Hungarian refugees, people who fled communism after the Hungarian Revolution of 1956. The family's original surname was Hircsák. It got anglicized to Hilton. That detail isn't trivia. It's the through line of everything that follows. A man whose entire life has been about arriving somewhere new and trying to remake it. He went to Oxford, then walked straight into the British Conservative Party. And here's where it gets interesting. At 27, Hilton commissioned one of the most notorious attack ads in modern British political history. Working with the agency Saatchi & Saatchi, he created the New Labour, New Danger poster, the one with the demon eyes. It won an advertising award. The Conservatives still lost the 1997 election in a landslide. The lesson stuck anyway. Politics is a branding problem before it's a policy problem. A decade later, he proved it. Between 2005 and 2010, Hilton rebranded the British Conservatives under a young leader named David Cameron. He swapped the party's torch logo for a green tree. He sent Cameron to the Arctic to be photographed with huskies. When Cameron became prime minister in 2010, Hilton walked into 10 Downing Street as director of strategy, the architect of Cameron's signature idea, the big society. Then in 2012, Hilton did the thing that defines him. He left. He moved his family to Silicon Valley and reinvented himself as a Stanford scholar and a tech entrepreneur. He married, by the way, into the absolute center of Silicon Valley power. His wife, Rachel Whetstone, has been the top communications executive at Google, then Uber, then Facebook, then Netflix. In 2015, the couple bought a home in Atherton, the second most expensive zip code in the United States, for $12.5 million. Hold on to that fact. The man now running as a populist, promising to make California affordable for ordinary working families, lives in one of the most expensive square miles in America. That's the first paradox. We'll come back to it. In 2016, Hilton broke with David Cameron, his old boss, the man whose son he was godfather to, and publicly backed Brexit. Leave won. Cameron resigned. That same year, Hilton endorsed Donald Trump. By 2017, he had his own Fox News show, The Next Revolution. He became an American citizen in May 2021. In December 2024, he published a book about California with a title that doubles as a campaign slogan, Cali Failure. And in April 2025, in Huntington Beach, Steve Hilton announced he was running for governor. So that's how he got to the starting line. Now, why is anyone taking him seriously? This is where the story stops being about one unusual man and becomes about a state with a genuine problem. Hilton's whole pitch rests on a simple claim. California is broken, and the people running it broke it. And the numbers give that claim more weight than Democrats would like. Look at the budget. According to California's own legislative analyst's office, the state ran a $27 billion deficit in 2023 to 2024, then a $55 billion deficit the following year. For 2026 to 2027, the same office projects a shortfall near $18 billion, and structural deficits of roughly $35 billion a year after that. Here is the fragile part. About 70% of the state's general fund comes from personal income tax, much of it tied to capital gains. The national average is 38%. California built its government on the most volatile revenue source it could find. Then there's the cost of living. the part voters actually feel. California has the highest combined income tax rate in the country, an all-in rate of 14.4% at the top, according to the Tax Foundation. Residential electricity runs around 33 cents per kilowatt hour, while the national average sits near 18 cents. The median home costs roughly $900,000, and the California Association of Realtors found that in late 2025, 82% of California households could not afford that median home. California's Department of Finance recorded a net domestic outmigration of 216,000 people in a single year. California has lost residents to other states every year since 2001. The companies are leaving too. Chevron, founded in California in 1879, announced in August 2024 it was moving its headquarters to Houston. Tesla had already gone to Texas, along with Oracle, Charles Schwab, and a long line of others. Here's the fact that should sting most. For a state this rich, California has the highest poverty rate in the nation once you account for the cost of living. The Census Bureau put California at 17.7% in 2024, tied with Louisiana. Roughly 7 million Californians could not meet their basic needs. Meanwhile, a state audit found California spent $24 billion on homelessness over 5 years, and the auditor concluded the state hadn't consistently tracked whether any of it worked. So when Steve Hilton says California reminds him of Britain in the 1970s, back when the UK was called the sick man of Europe, and calls California the sick man of America, that line lands. The data underneath it is real. Now you understand why he is leading. The question becomes, what is he actually promising, and does the math work? The platform is called Califordable, and the headline promises are deliberately concrete. $3 gas. Electricity bills cut in half. No state income tax on your first $100,000 of income, which his campaign says would take more than 7 million households, just over half the state, off the income tax rolls entirely. Above $100,000, a single flat rate of 7.5% would replace the current system that climbs past 13%. He would eliminate the $800 franchise tax that hits small businesses even when they earn nothing. One of his Democratic opponents, Katie Porter, said on a debate stage, "I've stolen that from Steve Hilton." He pairs all of that with a thing he calls CAL DOGE, California's version of a government efficiency hunt. In January 2026, his team claimed California was losing at least $250 billion to fraud, waste, and abuse. By March, that figure had climbed to $425 billion over 5 years, which Hilton framed as $22,000 per taxpayer. And here's where a finance channel has to be honest with you. Those fraud numbers are not audited. They are campaign estimates. Hilton himself told Newsweek the figure came with, in his words, a heavy caveat as to the accuracy of the number. California's Attorney General pushed back, saying the state had already recovered nearly $3 billion in stolen taxpayer money through actual investigations. The tax plan has the same gap. An independent look suggests Hilton's cuts could reduce state revenue by something like $60 billion. He says that is covered by returning spending to pre-pandemic levels, but a structural deficit above $40 billion and a $60 billion tax cut sit in the same room, and the campaign never fully shows how they are reconciled. Both sides of California's budget argument involve some optimistic arithmetic. Which brings us to the deepest paradox of all. Even if every number worked, Steve Hilton faces a wall. No Republican has won statewide office in California since Arnold Schwarzenegger in 2006. Registered Democrats outnumber Republicans by nearly 20 percentage points. In 2020, California rejected Donald Trump by more than 29 points. So when Trump endorsed Hilton on April 6, 2026, calling it his complete and total endorsement, it was the best and worst thing that could have happened to him. It was best because it consolidated Republican voters and pushed Hilton into the lead for the June 2nd primary. It was worst because California's top 2 primary sends the 2 highest finishers to November, regardless of party, and analysts immediately warned that Trump's embrace in a state that despises him may have quietly guaranteed the next governor will still be a Democrat. Hilton can win the primary precisely because of Trump. He may lose in November for exactly the same reason. So let's go back to where we started. How does the man who helped take Britain out of Europe end up trying to take California back from the Democrats? Now you have the answer, and it's stranger than the question. Steve Hilton has spent his entire life as an outsider, walking into established places and trying to rebrand them. The Conservative Party, Downing Street, Silicon Valley, and now Sacramento. He's the son of refugees who fled a failing system, and he's built a career on telling people the system they're living in is failing too. In California, for once, the data largely agrees with him. The deficit is real, the exodus is real, the poverty rate is real, but Hilton has always been better at diagnosing the disease than proving his cure. The demonized poster won an award and lost the election. Califordable is a brilliant piece of branding wrapped around arithmetic that nobody has fully shown their work on. The man who could take California from the Democrats is doing what he has always done, arriving somewhere new, telling it the truth about what's broken, and asking everyone to trust that he knows how to fix it. In the end, everything comes down to one question: will California actually trust Steve Hilton? Early voting is already open, and the primary is June 2nd. So if you live in California, make a plan and cast that ballot. If this breakdown helped you see the real picture behind the California governor race, hit the like button and subscribe to Main Street Financials. That's where I stay locked in, following the money, cutting through the noise, and asking who it actually serves. See you in the next one.